Hi friend, I just wanted to take a minute to invite you to our Lash Biz Babes Experience 2026. This is a one-day all online event happening on May 2nd, and our theme for the year is going all in. We are shaking things up and doing it differently than anyone ever has before. This is going to be an all online event as usual, but it's going to be 100% a curated journey throughout your day as we guide you through the mindset, strategy, and passion needed to go all in on your business to make it your best year in business yet. All lash artists, estheticians, and beauty professionals are invited to join us. There will be guided sessions, interactive workshops, a panel discussion, and big giveaways happening throughout that whole day. And tickets are on sale now for only $199. Payment plans are available. Let's go all in on our businesses for 2026 together. All the details and the link for tickets are down in the show notes below. I would love to have you join us online in May. Welcome to Lash Biz Babes, the podcast for solo beauty business owners who want to build a full clientele and create a business and life that they truly love. My name is Erica. I'm your host. I'm a lash artist turned beauty business coach, lash educator, and social media manager for salons and beauty businesses. I'm so happy that you're here. Let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. Welcome to this week's episode of Lash Biz Babes. My name is Erica. I'm your host, and this week we are going to be talking about things to tell first-time clients to keep them coming back to you. So if you've listened to the podcast at all, multiple episodes before, you've probably heard me say at some point or another that building your lash business or your beauty business in general is not just about booking in new clients, but it's about keeping them coming back, because those loyal repeat clients are what creates a dependable and reliable revenue stream so that you can have income that you can depend on every single month. Fills and repeat clients truly are the bread and the butter of a successful lash and beauty business. So how do we keep them coming back? The main thing here is the experience that you give them. We're not going to dive into all the different parts of the client experience today, but I just kind of wanted to share some of the things that I did as a lash artist that I felt like helped contribute to new clients coming back. So specifically new clients, when it's their first time coming to you, their first time getting lash extensions, what do you say to them to help educate them, to help them feel comfortable, to help them feel knowledgeable on the process, empowered, to help them want to come back to you specifically, especially if there are issues or maybe they don't like their lashes or maybe their lashes fell out too soon. How do you still keep them coming back even if there was a problem with their lashes? That's what we're going to talk about on today's episode. So I think mainly this topic specifically comes down to communication and education for your clients. I think there's a lot of different things in our businesses, no matter what business type you have, whether you're doing services, whether you are teaching classes, selling products, doing online services like I do now. A lot of parts of our businesses come back down to communication. It's always a skill that we can all be working on and evolving with. You've heard me talk about this probably quite a bit on the podcast before if you've listened to the show for a while. If you haven't already listened to it, I do have an episode on communication, like from start to finish throughout the whole appointment process. I think it was actually one of the first episodes. I don't know. It's like within the first 6 months of the podcast. So you'll have to go back a ways to go find it. But it's like one of the number one skills that you need as a business owner to have a successful business. So communication, I feel like, is so important with keeping new clients coming back. So that's kind of the part I wanted to focus on today, because yes, you can have a comfortable setup, you can have a good service, but if you can't communicate well with your clients, especially if there are problems with their lashes or they weren't super happy with them, whatever else, sometimes they still won't come back. And so I think this is an important piece that not a lot of people are really talking about, and that I feel like is absolutely key to being successful as a lash artist or just a beauty business owner or a business owner in general, really. Communication. I think to kick this off, you really have to put yourself in the shoes of your new client. If they haven't had lash extensions before, then they're going to be brand new to the process and it's going to be really important to educate them more. Or if they are just new to you, but they've had lash extensions before, you might sometimes think, well, they've had the service done before, they know what to expect, they're a veteran at this, yada, yada, yada. But honestly, even if they've had lash extensions before, you don't know what their experience with lashes or services in general has been like. And you don't know what their previous lash artist taught them or not. I feel like there's a lot of things about lash extensions, about products and aftercare and techniques and just all the things that have evolved so much over the last, 5, 6 years, even the last few years, that they might have been told outdated aftercare recommendations. They might not understand that they need to wash their lashes. Like there's so many different things that they could not know about lashes that I still feel like even if they've had lashes before, still communicate with them and educate them the same way you would a brand new client who's never had that service done before, so that you can train them on how to be a good client for you. So with that, there were a few things that I found as a lash artist that were really beneficial in educating them and communicating well with them. And I think first and foremost is like when they arrive to their appointment, they're probably a little nervous. They're like, am I in the right place? Who am I going to see? Now, if you're like showing yourself on social media, that is probably going to help with that aspect because they have at least an idea of who you are and what you look like, that kind of thing. But they're still probably a little nervous trying to figure out, where they're going, and it's their first time to you. So I always tried to make sure before the appointment to send out instructions on like how to find the studio. And that was specifically because where I was lashing at, it was like a building that had 4 different like storefronts in it. There was like 2 upstairs and 2 downstairs. So you had to figure out the right building to go to in the parking lot. And then you had to figure out which actual business to go into once you got to the right building, and then you had to like navigate your way to my actual room. And so it was a little bit confusing. So I always tried to communicate and send them instructions beforehand. That way they were very clear on where they should be going, and it helped them make them more comfortable to begin with. And then I always try, and I wasn't always perfect at this. I don't think any of us ever are, but especially for new clients, if they haven't been to you before, always try to meet them in the lobby. So that way, if they are wondering if they are in the right spot or where to go, they immediately are greeted with you face to face when they first come in. And then I think the next important part of this is the consultation piece, making sure you have good consent forms and a good consultation form that asks them about like their past experiences with lash extensions. Have you had the service done before? How was it? If you have had lashes before, what did you like about them? What did you not like about them? So that you can understand what their experiences have been and what might need to change if they've had lashes before, right? So if they're like, oh, I had lashes before, but they were too full, I'd rather do this type of style this time, or maybe they had an allergic reaction or some type of issues, it's important that you understand those things. And I think just communicating that with them and having that conversation really helps them understand that like you are trying to do your best for them, and helps you understand like why they may have switched lash artists and what you can do better to keep them coming back to you instead. I find that a lot of times, like foreign fills, or I always called them new client fills. For whatever reason, I just didn't like the verbiage of saying foreign fill. So I called it a new client fill. And for new client fills, I always found that it's such a great opportunity to create a loyal client out of them if you're able to remedy the issues that they were having before and communicate well with them and give them the kind of lashes that they actually want. And like it's a really great opportunity to build trust with them, because if their lashes are clumped or they were done poorly, you don't have to like talk smack on their previous artist whatsoever, but you can educate them on, take a picture of what you're seeing, show it to them. Here's what I'm seeing from behind. This is why these lashes maybe are a little too long. This is why they weren't lasting. This is, why they're hurting you or pinching or pulling or whatever. And here's what we can do to remedy that. And kind of adjust things moving forward so that you can have lashes that you love that feel good, right? So that is just part of like the consultation, having a really good, like thorough consultation, even if that's just like talking with them and understanding the look that they're wanting. Like, ask clarifying questions if you don't get what they're asking for. And even though we can't replicate a picture exactly, I still always like to ask for picture inspiration, like what inspo pics do you have, if any, just so that I can get an idea of visually what they are thinking in their head. It gets everybody on the same page, but it's just important for you to assess, okay, this is the look that you're wanting, and this is what we can reasonably do for you today. Like, communicate that with them from the start, because if they're coming in wanting like extra full volume and you know that their natural lashes can't handle that, you're not going to be able to achieve that look for them for whatever reason, like communicate that with them. Okay, I'm hearing that this is the type of look that you're wanting. However, this is what I'm seeing. Like, your natural lashes aren't as strong. They're not going to be able to hold that in a healthy way. So we're going to do the best that we can today. We'll put you on a lash serum to help your natural lashes get longer and stronger so that we can build up to that full look that you want. But it's all about just like communicating these things with them so that they're not expecting full mega volume glam and then you're giving them like a classic lash set or something, right? That's a little bit of a dramatic example, but that's just like to give you an example that hopefully makes sense in the way that I'm explaining it. But it's all about communication in that consultation of, here's what you're wanting, here's what I'm able to do today, and explaining that to them so that when they open their eyes, they're knowing what they're going to see and they don't have different expectations than what you're able to give them. So really, this consultation is about kind of setting those expectations from the start, and that way they're not surprised or thrown off, and hopefully you're able to achieve the look that they're wanting. But just in case, you've already explained that to them previously. And I think with new clients too, as we go from the consultation into the next phase of the appointment, is with lash extensions specifically, they are laying down with their eyes closed for an extended period of time with someone that they just met. That can be a little nerve-wracking for some people. And maybe especially if they haven't had the service done before, they don't know what to expect. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing. So communicate with them. If you need them to move further back, they're not going to know that unless you say that. So communicate that with them. If you need them to turn their head a certain way, they're not going to know that unless you say it to them. So say it to them. Like, don't be afraid to tell them what you need them to do, because a lot of times they don't know and you've got to train them on how to be a good client for you, okay? They're not mind readers. We've got to communicate with them. And not only that, but like, they're probably nervous because they don't know what to expect. They don't know what to do. So for new clients, I always like to explain the process as I was doing things. So, okay, I'm going to have you lay back, I'm gonna have you close your eyes, and we're gonna tape down the bottom lashes so that they're not getting stuck in the top lashes that we're putting extensions on. Like, we're not trying to glue your eyes shut. You don't have to say it like that, but that's essentially it, right? So you're explaining things to them so that they know what's happening and know the process. And I think one thing that's really important here, specifically when we're talking lash extensions, is letting them know at the start of the appointment, hey, if there is any discomfort, stinging, watering, burning going on throughout the appointment, please speak up and let me know so that I can adjust it for you and make sure that you're comfortable throughout the entirety of the appointment. This is so key. This is so important, I found, because especially clients who are new to you, and even clients who aren't new to you, even if they're like your friend, they're too nervous to speak up sometimes if something hurts or if something is uncomfortable. So they will just deal with it, and then they'll end up with a bloodshot eye the rest of the night or the next day, and it will hurt really bad, and then you're going to get that complaining text, right? So you have to open that door of communication for them of, hey, if anything is uncomfortable, please let me know, because that makes them more comfortable to speak up to you throughout the appointment, especially for new clients. And this is going to go such a long way for you, whether it's during that appointment or a future appointment of theirs, because they know they can come to you and talk to you if there's a concern. And that is so key with clients in general. So let them know that they can speak up and talk with you, right? And then just, explain the process as you go. Here's what I'm doing next. You don't have to like give them like a screen reader play by play, right? But just let them know if you're transitioning into something different or a different step, what's happening, what am I doing? If you're washing the lashes, if you're spraying something on them, if you're starting to apply, if you are starting to, I don't know, tape stuff back, just letting them know what's happening so that they're aware and they're not like nervous of, what the heck is going on, or what is this, all this foam stuff on my eye, or they were flinching because they weren't expecting like you to spray something on them, things like that. So let them know what's going to be happening so that they have a good expectation of what's to come, what it's going to feel like, and they're not nervous to be closing their eyes for 2 to 3 hours at a time with someone that they just met, right? So explaining things to them, educating them, and then throughout this process, obviously throughout the appointment, at the end, you're going to hit the point where you need to educate them on aftercare. Now, again, even if they've had lash extensions before, they've had the service done before, still educate them on your standard of aftercare practices, because the previous lash artist they went to might not have told them that. It might be different now. Like I had a client who'd been like getting lashes for like 8 years and still didn't know that she needed to wash her lashes because like no one had really told her that. They just assumed, oh, she's had lashes for a long time, she knows how to take care of them. That is not always the case. And I learned that the hard way when I had another lash artist working in my studio with me, and we had this new client come in and she'd had lashes before. So the lash artist who was working with me didn't really explain aftercare to her very well, or at least as apparently not as good as this client was expecting. And anyway, the client got mad that we didn't educate her on aftercare well enough for her. So that was a big learning lesson for me. And educating them on aftercare is so important. But always remember, new clients, this is a lot of information to be taking in. So have aftercare cards, or send them a text with it, send them an email with it, have it printed out. Refer them back to like a social media post with all of it. Figure out a way to give them a physical copy of the aftercare instructions so that they have that to refer back to. And you can also like physically show them like how to wash their lashes in the bathroom. Obviously, you're going to have to take into account the time you would need for that, but I think that would go a really long way to help them understand what they need to be doing with them at home. I didn't take the time to do that with every single client, but I had a video about how to wash your lashes that was linked to the aftercare instructions. So they got that with that and they could click on it and watch the video. So that's another way that you could think of doing it that wouldn't take as much time during the appointments. So I found that to be a little more efficient. But they've got to understand how to take care of those lashes. You cannot have high expectations of them taking care of them and doing everything that correctly that they're supposed to be doing if you're not explaining that to them. One of my biggest pet peeves in the industry is people being passive aggressive about aftercare online, about washing their lashes, using cuticle oil, using a certain shampoo or conditioner for their blonde hair, or whatever it is that you offer, like being passive aggressive about these things online, but you're not educating your clients about it in person because you're too scared to speak up. You only get brave when you're behind a keyboard. Don't be like that. Educate your clients. It is your job as the professional, your responsibility as the trained and licensed certified professional to tell them how to take care of things, okay? So with that, aftercare, what's the next thing? This part, when they are checking out, I always told every single new client, okay, because not every single new client is going to know what they want for their lashes, right? Like style-wise or length-wise or fullness-wise. They might be kind of guessing. They might think they know what they want, and then they see what it looks like on them, and they may or may not like it, right? And they may or may not come back to you if they feel like comfortable or uncomfortable telling you that they don't like their lashes, right? So this is so key and important with any new client who comes to you, whether they've had lashes on before or not, is don't hype them up and be like, oh my gosh, they look so good, like blah, 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 like making them, like that's not a bad thing. Like if that's to hype them up and make them feel good about their lashes. But if you're saying those things and they don't actually like them, are they going to come back to you or tell you if there's something wrong with the lashes, or if they don't have, like it's not not their preference. Like, you might think it looks good from your professional opinion, but they have different preferences and likes, and they're the ones spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on lashes over the period of time, and they want it to look how they want it to look at the end of the day. So this is what I always did. I always told every single new client, now that you see what these lashes look like on you, decide what you like, decide what you don't like. We can always change the length, the style, the fullness. We can do different colors. We can, these are completely customizable. We can change any aspect of the lashes at your next appointment, but, decide what you like and you don't like, and let me know when you come back in next time if there's anything that you want to change. Again, this just opens the door of conversation. That doesn't mean every single client is going to come back and complain and hate their lashes, but this does mean that if there is something that they decide they don't like or they want to adjust or change next time, that they're going to feel comfortable saying that to you and not just being like, oh, she told me my lashes look great, I can't tell her I don't like these, I need to find someone else, and just hating it, right? So that's why I feel like this is so important, to open that door of communication with them, to let them know they can come to you if there's any issues or problems. And with this, to let them know if you have questions, if you have issues, if there's any problems with your lashes after you leave your appointment, please text me. You've got my number now, you've got me on Instagram now. Please reach out and let me know. I'm happy to help you in any way that I can. And you can also follow up with them after a few days. How are you liking your lashes? How are things going? How's aftercare going? Do you have any questions? Again, communication. It's these little things that are going to help keep them coming back to you, even if there's an issue, even if they don't totally love them. And also explain to them that, like, okay, if there is anything you don't like, we are going to have to gradually adjust it, unless you want to do a full removal and a new full set, right? Make sure that's known as well. Any adjustments in the future, especially if they're like, well, these are way too long, or I want to go way more full or way less full or whatever. It's going to take a few appointments to kind of really cycle out that first set of lashes completely, unless you do a removal and a full set. So I always tell them, we're going to try and get it as close to what you're wanting as possible today. And hopefully we totally nail that. But if not, if there's anything you don't like about this, we can adjust it next time and then keep, fine-tuning that as we go forward until you find exactly what you love for your lashes. So that is that communication with them. It's going to keep them coming back, even if they don't like things or if there's an issue, or it's just going to make them feel like they can actually come to you with that. And then if and when they do come to you, because there will be times that clients will want to adjust things, will want to change it up, will want something or another, be open to that. It's not a criticism of your work or your worth as a lash artist or you did something wrong. It's just a preference thing. They just didn't like that style on them. That's totally okay. That doesn't mean you're a bad lash artist or you suck at what you do, or you don't have to take it personal. In fact, I recommend not taking it personal at all. Just take that as information. Okay, great. What can we adjust for you today? You want to go longer. You want to go shorter. You want to go more full, less full. You might think that might not be the best look for them in the world. You can explain that to them in a kind, professional way if you would like to. However, personally, I just am like, okay, great. I'm not going to take that personal. That's what I'm thinking in my head, at least. I'm not going to take it personal. We're just going to make this adjustment for them. And be open-minded to constructive criticism or feedback from your clients. They're not trying to be mean. They're just trying to get what they're asking for from all the money that they're paying you for their lashes. So when there is feedback, keep an open mind to that, because if you're really defensive on that or giving them a hard time or unwilling to make adjustments for them, they're not going to come back to you. So these little pieces of communication, so important. The follow-up, that's always a great thing as well, seeing if they have questions. And then when they do come back in for another appointment, asking them, how did you like your lashes? Is there anything you want to adjust about them today? How's aftercare going? Did you have any questions on that? Again, just following up on these things, communicating with them. And also just a little pro tip on keeping clients coming back. This sounds so simple and easy, but not everybody does it. At the end of their appointment, don't be afraid to ask them if they want to rebook right then and there. Get them back on the schedule. Okay, I'm trying to remember how I phrased this. Would you like to schedule your next appointment now, or do you want to wait and see what your schedule is going to be like? Most of the time, I mean, I'm just going to guess on a percentage here, like 85 to 90% of the time they're going to rebook. Not everybody will, and that's totally okay. If they don't reschedule with you right then and there, you can text them in another week or two and follow up to see if they'd like to rebook. Is everybody going to? No, but is that follow up good to give them the opportunity? Yes. Like, you cannot be afraid to like be that go-to person for your client to ask them to rebook. How can we be like upset if people don't rebook if we're not asking them to? How can we be upset if they don't know how to take care of their lashes if we're not telling them how to? Like, a lot of this can fall back on us. And like, if you've done your job and you've educated them, you've communicated well with them, like you've done all of these things, they decide not to rebook, that's totally okay. You don't have to get stuck and hung up on a client. Just keep moving on. I think that sometimes gets hard in our heads where we're like, oh, what did I do wrong? Why did this client want to come back to me? And that can be valid because you can get that feedback and see what maybe you can adjust moving forward, or if there were any issues that maybe you can learn from and do better next time. That's valid, but I just don't want you to get so hung up on clients who aren't rebooking that you're not focused on like the next set of clients you could be getting in your door. Because I think your energy is better spent focusing on, okay, the next client and getting someone new in the door and giving them a good experience versus like sitting and spiraling and wallowing about this client who didn't want to come back. That's okay. That's their right, okay? They don't have to come back to you. Like, none of us are entitled to anything. But these little things with communication that I've been talking about, these ways of opening those doors of communication with your clients are going to go a long, long way in keeping new clients coming back to you again and again and again, and feeling like they can come to you and talk to you and they're comfortable letting you know if there's an issue, if they don't like something, any of that stuff that we've been talking about. So if you have questions on this, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at xoericashram or at lashbizbabes on Instagram. I'll leave those links in the show notes for you. But I love you. Have the best week. Thank you for listening. Please make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you are listening at so you can get notified when new episodes go live every Tuesday. And yep, have the best week. I'll talk to you again next week.